Someone shot the food. Life force running out.
Move that to Yeti, please. Is that picking up? There we go. Wow. Okay. Hi. Welcome to the Mr. Video Game Live Super Show. It is September the 20th, 2021. I am half awake, and also I just realized that my laptop isn't getting a charge, which we kind of want the show to run. So hold on a sec.
You know why I've come back and do this. You know why. Damn it. I'm not gonna tell you why. You know why. No, I'm alright. I'm doing good. I'm easing into the week after a weekend full of D&D and replaying Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because I wanna.
Reason. That's for sure.
Hey, I wanted to play it, so I booted it up. I was like playing a whole bunch of like shooters and stuff, and I'm like, you know what? All these like Apex is fun, Splitgate is fun, but I want something beefy story again. Like, I don't have anything else really installed right now. Let me get back into this again.
That's fair enough. I've actually found myself like randomly thinking about it like every now and again. Because just like how good the fighting actually was in it once you got used to it. Even though the game doesn't tell you how to actually do it.
You play Final Fantasy 15, you don't need to be told how to do the system again. Come on.
But you gotta learn how to like dodge and how to actually, do things. Oh, and the browser has now moved to the wrong window. Let me fix that capture here. This isn't
Hi, Giant
last
Pie.
week.
I was gonna say hi, Giant Pie.
Hey, Giant Pie. Of course, also you can see we've got Merowyn here. Happy first day at the job thing.
Yar, thank you. It was an awesome day, and I'm still coming to terms with the fact that I actually have a commute to work now, and I was still home with enough time to have a few hours to twiddle my thumbs before we came here to push the buttons and do the doodly doos. So it's weird. Like, I'm not used to having time to myself between work and stream.
Fucking sweet.
I looked at Peter and went, I don't know what to do. He's like, whatever you want. And I'm like, but I don't know what to do.
It's that Netflix effect.
Yeah.
You're given so many options, you just get paralyzed by choice.
Yeah, and also, Brian, this is the first time I've seen your hair down.
Ah, yes.
I am incredibly envious
You two have all the hair, and meanwhile, I have not all the hair.
Well, Trav, I mean, if Brian and I both cut ours, like a half foot each,
Mm-hmm.
you would
Yeah.
have a really respectable wig.
Yeah.
This is true. This is real true. I don't think
'Cause
I'd ever want to do that, but like,
we're both kind of in the same boat with the hairs. Mine
yeah.
just has a lot of pink in it right now.
Which
Still, it's been a year since I dyed it. It won't come out.
I mean, I imagine Wonder Boy wouldn't mind having a bit of that pink in the hair.
I don't know. I've been tossing around ideas about dyeing my hair for like years at this point and never actually get around to doing it because I'm lazy and my attention shifts on the whim of a fucking like dust bunny.
Whatever you do not use the brand Splat.
Not
The
the first
bleach,
person to tell me that.
the bleach is stellar. My hair started out with a deep purple and hot pink ombre. I now resemble a My Little Pony a year later. And I've killed Brian.
Nice.
Um,
Ah.
so yeah. This was done as traumatic bullshit in my life. Therapy. My cousin helped me out, and I am regretting using Splat. I mean, the color payoff was great. It looked fantastic. But now, and to make it even better, this pink is apparently black light reactive.
Ooh.
Oh.
So if I set my smart lights to dark blue, my hair glows.
Neat.
So now you're just selling me on this now.
But it never comes out. You have to grow it out. Because there is not a professional stylist in the world that will touch hair that has been dyed by Splat.
Hmm.
Because it will not strip out.
I don't think you're telling Brian anything that would keep him from doing it still. You mean I don't have to fuck around with it for like a whole year? Okay.
Like, then you also have to deal with the grow out, because, like, the pink only goes up to about here now.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, it's a thing.
I think I
Sorry,
have
y'all
everything
wanted to hear
actually
about
straight.
video games.
Oh,
Do we
video
though?
games will be talked about, damn it. We'll talk about them when we want to. It's our show.
I
Please
don't.
stay.
I
Please clap.
mean, we could talk about literally anything. We're here now. I mean, how's wrestling going? How's that world going, Brian?
Yo, I interviewed somebody earlier today for an episode of LGBT in the Ring that will be coming out Thursday who is competing in, and I am not bullshitting you on the name of this match, the Gay or Stay 3-Way.
Okay.
I love my fucking job. All right.
You
It's
have
it's
a
gonna
pretty
be
fucking sweet job. Hell yeah.
it's gonna be on a show called, and another, I love this about it. It's a show that's happening in Jersey, called Taste the Rainbow.
God. This is kind of all sorts of amazing.
Yep. Like I said, I've had a wonderful day so far today.
Fair enough. Okay, fine. I guess we'll do some sort of talking about video games.
There are
Deathloop.
some stuff.
Yeah, Deathloop came out last week. Sadly, only to the PlayStation 5. I apologize for that. But
You don't have to apologize for anything. I am angry at myself because I thought that it was coming out on the PS4. We're pulling back the curtain a little bit on our like private Discord chat here because I want to play this game. I was stoked about it, and then I found out that they didn't release it on PS4, and I was upset.
completely understandable. Yeah, I only played a little bit of it because what we'll talk about in a second. I got through what you would call like the tutorial missions. Um, I will say the game gives a huge fuck about your loadout and choosing weapons and modifying your player and all of this good stuff that I hadn't really expected. I probably should because that's what AAA shooter games do these days. Everything has to have modifications, and your modifications have modifications. In anyway, so far I kind of like it. It's the stealth action feels very nice, and yeah, you can go in guns akimbo as much as you want to, but I am a sneaky boy whenever I play these games, so I like that there is a walk up and murder people. That makes me happy. It's very Metal Gear and just like sneak up behind somebody, walk up and twist their neck and move on. Yeah. The
I
aesthetic,
appreciate games with good stealth.
yeah.
Yeah, and
And
honestly,
I like the fact that there's also the option of the screw it, going in. Like I'm kind of down with that.
and knowing the pedigree that this team has, Arcane being the people that brought us Dishonored and Prey, like this speaks exactly to those games and their approaches to both stealth and fucking Ramboing it up.
Yeah, after every mission that you go on, you get these little screens that are kind of weird to me. It's the game itself is a little bit outside of my normal gaming area, but I love the aesthetic so much that I can't not touch it. And it's only like a 20-hour game, so that's cool. I do very much appreciate that the gameplay is more lenient than I thought it would be. You do find a device pretty early on that lets you revive yourself a certain number of times before you have to restart your loop again. So that's cool. The gun action feels pretty darn good. I do have to say, where did this player get that huge ass fucking knife? I want that giant shit knife. It does seem to me like so far your weapons reset each day. Again, I'm just pretty early on. So I've only done one full loop worth of a day, and I was very much disappointed when it's like, okay, start back over again. I had a really cool gun though. I liked it a lot. I had other guns, but no, this one did a big boom. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more of it and seeing what Deathloop has to offer you. You can just go in and do the missions, and there's, nice little mission objective markers. Or you can just choose to wander the fuck around, and that's also nice. And I appreciate that. There's side stuff you can go see if you really want to. What's up, Joshy Jr.? Hope you're doing all right. So yeah, hopefully I play more of this, and at a later time we'll get a PlayStation 5 to Brian, and he'll also play it, and we'll both be like you guys, play it too.
I am eager to have that opportunity.
What the hell? I had Lindsay, yeah, Lindsay actually played a game. I didn't know you did anything other than cleaning last week, to be honest.
Yeah. So I hit the end of Duskwood as it stands right now. They're still working on putting out episode 9, and had a day or two of absolute depression because I miss it and I want more and I want to know what happened. So I went hunting for ARG and found phone style games. And discovered that one of my favorite sci-fi franchises of all time has stepped into the genre, utilizing one of the 3 villains in the history of Doctor Who that has ever given me nightmares.
Yeah, I'm not touching this if it has to do with the Weeping Angels. You can.
It's all about. So basically, if you watched Tennant's run, there was an episode called Don't Blink. And it was the intro to the Weeping Angels. It followed a girl named Sally Sparrow and her friend Lawrence Nightingale. And in this game, the phone you have found is Lawrence's.
Oh.
It is 10 years later. And you find a phone and you are contacted by Osgood, who was the adorable little quirky scientist who is the ultimate Doctor Who fangirl from like the Day of the Doctor series. And I started off because they do have a free demo that takes you through the first little chunk, lets you learn the kind of mechanics and such that you're going to be dealing with. I had no less than like 4 jump scares in like half an hour worth of playtime. And so I very promptly turned around, hit the end of that demo, and bought the damn game. Because I can deal with these jump scares. Because I refuse to absolutely demolish my phone. Because I can't afford to replace it right now, and I kind of need it for life. So I have to be able to control myself during jump scares and not yeet my phone across the room into a wall.
Yeah, you're the one that keeps telling me you can't do scary games, and then you show up with this thing that I won't touch this shit with the 10-foot pole. Fuck the Weeping Angels. I don't need that in an ARG. Fuck off.
It's really good though.
I do not care. Those things are freaks, and they can stay inside of the telephone and not in my face.
For the record, the only other 2 villains that have given me nightmares were the gas mask kid from Eccleston's run, so the Ninth Doctor, and the Silence from Matt Smith's run.
I mean,
So
silence
it's
were
like,
kind of creepy, but I can deal with that.
I have issues with the thought, like, I've had issues in the past with being gaslit really bad. And so the thought of an entity that can drop in, give you completely impossible to ignore instructions, and then force you to forget they ever existed terrifies me. Like, full-on legit screaming nightmares. And the gas mask kid, I mean, he was kind of adorable, but really freaking creepy.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, first 3 Doctors, 3 nightmare fuels.
Like, I gotta tell you, it's been a long time since I've doctored. Are you still doing, like, watching the Doctor Who?
I started falling out of love with it during Capaldi's run because he was just angry and rude. And I watched the entire first season of Jodie Whittaker because I'm like, yes, finally a female Doctor.
Okay.
And was promptly furious because instead of the standard single companion, she had a posse of like 4 people, and the vast majority were male. And it was like them going, a female Doctor can't carry her own shit. And it's like, nope. I loved her personality. She was very much like Doctor Who meets Dory from Finding Nemo. She was like super cheerful and chipper and kind of adorable, but apparently this upcoming season is also her last.
Oh.
So we don't know who has been tapped as of yet, but also one of the major showrunners, Chris Chibnall, who has written some absolutely stellar episodes, is also leaving.
Oh.
They've already lost Stephen Moffat. And some of the best episodes back in the day were Stephen Moffat episodes. And now with Chibnall going, like, he was like the last hope. So I don't know.
Do you
I
think
mean, I'd
like
love to see
Doctor
them
Who will
bring.
ever end again, or?
No, it probably never will. Um, I would love it if they brought back Neil Gaiman
Hmm.
to write some more episodes.
Neil Gaiman would love if they brought back Neil Gaiman.
Yeah. I mean, I have heard rumors of the Good Omens too,
Fair.
which I'm thrilled with because Good Omens was a fantastic book and a perfect series. So, anyhow, yeah, I like weird stuff.
Speaking of weird stuff, Brian, what is The Night is Grey? I have not heard of this one
Ooh.
yet.
Okay, so this is a game from a studio that is new to me, Whale Stork, based out of Portugal. They're a little five-person team. That this is their first game.
Mhm.
And The Night is Grey is basically kind of a like atmospheric, kind of spooky, horror. Spooky might be doing a little bit of a little bit of an injustice because it definitely tends more to a horror than a spooky sort of thing. But it just has a really like interesting atmosphere. Basically, it's a point and click adventure game. You play this guy who is in the woods, and you meet this little girl who has been left alone in her cabin. Her mother kind of went to fix the generator and never came back, and
Oh.
so you are basically tasked with trying to get her to her grandparents' house on the opposite side of the forest. And it's only the demo is out right now. It's up for free on Steam. You can probably get through it if you know your way through all the different choices and everything, probably within like 45 minutes or so.
Okay.
I spent a little bit over an hour with it. Um, I really like what this game is trying to do, I think, in terms of the atmosphere it wants to create. It definitely has the spookiness to it. It has the vibe to it a bit. Um, and also, if that wasn't enough, there are these wolves in the forest that everyone is
Wolves.
afraid of.
Okay.
And, you know, they basically are like quantified the same as like monsters in a way. But the demo doesn't necessarily explain everything behind those wolves, but the trailer hints that there might be some relationship between human and wolf, if that makes any sense to you. Like there's
Oh.
literally a part in the trailer where like you see a wolf start to kind of like grow like see like bones and stuff start to shift like grotesquely, a la like a werewolf transformation, and then you see a human hand come shoving out of the wolf's mouth and blood and stuff, and then it cuts to the title card. So I think there's something more to the wolves to find out in the actual full game, but yeah, like the writing's really good. I think what really makes this one stand out a bit is the animation. Like,
Oh
you know,
yeah, that looks beautiful.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's really seamless 2D animation on that. Like it's really smooth. It looks really good, and the writing is pretty good too. Obviously, it's just like a first like hour chunk of it, but I don't know. It got me curious to see what else they want to do with it, honestly, and I don't know. I'm intrigued. You know, I'm looking to see more, especially for a first outing. There is some hint with some of the press material that I received for this game, as well as like the opening quote whenever you start the game up. Hints at uh, this game kind of metaphorically handling issues of trauma.
Hmm.
I believe the actual like text that they put in their press release to me was it's a cinematic thriller with a revivalist take on trauma. I do not know what
Okay.
revivalist take on trauma means. But like the game, like the very first screen you see when you hit start game is like a quote that basically is like it's basically a quote that would come from an abusive parent.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Like it seems like it's got something to say in within it, and has some illusions within the horror that it's trying to craft there as well.
Cool.
Okay, and now I'm gonna break Travis's head more. I kind of want to pick this up.
The game itself is, I think, is due out in December of this year, if I'm not mistaken. They haven't like given it an official like date, but they have been saying December 2021. But the demo's out now. Download for free on Steam if you want to try it out.
Cool.
I wish listed and followed on Steam now already. I think when it comes to horror, like this kind of horror is okay. Weeping Angels on my cell phone is also okay. The frantic running and screaming and trying not to fall off a cliff kind of horror game is not okay.
You weird. Give me
Yeah,
that
this one
Resident
has-
Evil bullshit.
This one has a lot of quiet spaces to work around in with, and then have it get loud whenever it needs to. So at least from what I played so far, like I said, the whole game could have could switch that vibe up a bit, but it seems like they're willing to play in the quiet spaces, which can be very, very effective for the kind of story they want to tell.
Fantastic. I'm totally down for this. Like the art style is screaming at me of play me now. And I'm loving the style of that like the style of storytelling that it's using. Like I'm down for this. Like I'll read horror. It's like watching horror flicks where things literally jump out and go boo. Like
But the thing that basically broke the internet over the weekend, Toby Fox has done it again, and I'm gonna try to put a little bit of volume up. We don't really care about your Pokemon Oreos here. There we go.
Jesus. I will say this, Josh, while you get that booted up, I do care about your Pokemon Oreos, and now that the Nabisco strike is over, I might pick some up. Power to the
come
people.
up here.
Hopefully that music isn't too loud. Toby Fox during what was it, Thursday night's stream of a playthrough with some commentary from some friends and him via text to speak of DeltaRune Chapter 1 came out. And after the stream was over, they showed the entry into Chapter 2 and then said to everybody that DeltaRune would be available Friday night for freeze. You can get it currently on Steam for free and download it for yourself. It is out there. Fans over the world rejoiced. The music, as always, slaps pretty hard. I gotta say, I didn't really feel the story for this one, but it's Chapter 2, so, like, meh.
And if I remember correctly, this is the last free chapter that he's releasing, right?
I think so. Like, I think he was going to do Chapter 3 to 5 at the same time. Release that for a cost, and then everything together was the plan.
Okay.
I'm curious about this one, but I never finished Undertale.
You don't gotta finish Undertale for DeltaRune whatsoever. I mean, there are definitely some, like, creatures that seem to be referencing Undertale, but I don't think it's needed. Though Undertale is roughly a 10 to 15 hour game, depending upon how you play it.
Unless you're like me and are really, really, really shitty at, like, every aspect of it, and have already sunk like 5 hours into the game and I'm not even out of like the first area.
The bullet hell gameplay does come back. Your friends learn how to do actions. That's cool. The thing that fascinates me the most And I don't know how far to go into this, because it's not technically spoilers unless you're the kind of fan that's going to go ham. I mean, obviously, there's a special boss in it. There's a special boss in Chapter 1 that's expected here. But the fan community got the secret thing real fucking fast. Like, super quick. And there is some really weird shit that you gotta do to even find that. How the fuck, in a day's time, did they figure out the shit you gotta do?
You underestimate the Undertale fan community, my friend. Like,
I
can you?
suppose so.
They are like, and I don't mean this with any ill will per se, but like, they are fucking obsessive.
This is true. The Undertale community is a special group of people, and they will always, I know, mine the shit out of content. I love in concept what Toby Fox did with that special thing that we're kind of dancing around but not really talking about. It's kind of amazing.
Well, here's my question for you. As someone who played the first chapter of DeltaRune, like at this point, what, like 2 years ago, I think?
Yeah.
And doesn't have their save anymore because it was on an old computer, and can't necessarily remember what happened in that first chapter. How does this second chapter like play into the first one at all?
Chapter 2 is definitely an entirely different world. Like, each of these chapters, it seems like, is going to be completely separated out. You get a castle town to, like, collect basically things that you had gathered from these worlds without getting too far into it. So, a lot of the, like, darker characters from Undertale Chapter 1 aren't going to play a huge role in Chapter 2. There is a little bit more of Chris interacting with the world, like the, the other people around her. And I don't know how far to go into that, but there is a whole lot about, relationships between your characters, all of the various people involved, especially considering the potential path 2 that you can take. I'll say that much. Your character is really interesting in, like, thinking about it. And God, it's so hard to talk about without talking about it. I don't know if I should just say, because it's not really a spoiler for how literally anyone is going to inherently play through this game. Because unless you are a weirdo, you're not going to find this yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah. I guess if Marilyn or anybody, if you're interested after, I'll talk about it. But because I really do want to talk about it. I don't know if anybody listening would even have an issue with us talking about it, but like, I don't want to ruin anybody's game, so.
Well,
just came out.
I just downloaded. I mean, it pisses me off that on Steam it's listed as a demo for Chapter 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But I have downloaded them. And now that I have, like, some form of work-life balance, I might actually dive into these.
I mean, I would recommend it. I would say DeltaRune so far is not my favorite RPG. But now, knowing some of the bullshit going on in there, I'm kind of fascinated with what Toby actually has to say. So I'm excited for more, for sure. More so than just playing the game itself, I think would have given me. And I think that's really fucking smart on his end.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'd have to.
Well, we've been sitting here listening to music for a bit. Let's talk about that for a minute. Twitch, of course, has been having, let's say, issues with music lately, especially because a lot of games, especially AAA games, have licensed music inside of it. And this has caused issues after issues for Twitch. But the Twitch and the NMPA, the basically publishers group for, you know, most of, especially the large labels, are coming together more than likely in an agreement. It obviously hasn't been signed yet, nothing is done here yet, but it does look like they're all coming together in a way.
Huh. I mean, this is cool, and it's kind of needed, given that the Twitch's only action on this so far. I don't know if you've noticed, Trav, on our creators dashboard.
Hmm.
We have a handy dandy copyright strike counter now.
Oh. Yeah, I did see that. I remember looking at that like, okay, well, good to know we have 0 so far.
Yeah, I was messing around in my creator dashboard today and I came across it, and seeing the, like, if you go into content, you've got this copyright claims manager, and it'll say you have 0 copyright strikes on your channel, and then underneath it'll have claims, and it goes, you have no claims on your account.
Yay,
And
very good.
then if you hit learn more, it gives you you currently have X amount on your channel. If you accumulate 3, your account may be terminated. And then it goes through, this is what a copyright means. Okay, children? You know, so.
My concern is what that agreement will look like, you know, if how, because money is clearly going to be involved, so how is that money going to get to them, and from what angle?
Oh, it's simple. I mean, if you're affiliated, instead of only getting half price for your subs, you're going to get like a third, quarter.
That's what I'm worried about here, is that like people will start getting paid even less for their streams, and it going to the NMPA, which I don't want any money going to them. I mean, yeah, I do want, you know, people whose music is being, you know, used without permission to get their money, but I hate that this is the way that it goes about that.
Well, I mean, I would be happy if they would end the overzealous strikes. Like, you had the lead guitarist of Dragon Force get a copyright strike and a takedown order because he literally live played one of the songs that he wrote for the band.
Right.
And they threatened him with termination of his channel for it.
Yeah, it's been a really shitty last 2 years since the music industry has started coming down hard on Twitch.
I mean, artists aren't getting their concert fees right now, so.
Yeah. And let me be clear, like, artists deserve to get paid. what artists especially get paid out of shit like Spotify is goddamn nothing, and that's dumb. Unless like you are a billion listen person at that time, then maybe you'll get a little bit out of a Spotify, but
Yeah.
And
I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know. Like, I like the idea of them trying to like go through the correct channels to get this done, just so that they can like ease up on a lot of this stuff.
mm,
That being said, though, like I feel like Twitch makes enough money that they could cover this without passing it along to creators or consumers. But I think that you're spot on, Lens, in talking about them actually definitely doing that, at least to like a certain tier of their of one of the two. I mean, they could potentially add more ads to streams. They could we saw the same thing happen with Patreon a few years back, where like they originally were going to be passing that along to consumers that were paying for subscriptions, but
mm,
then they had to do that about face very quickly whenever whenever the users got upset. So I don't know. It's curious to see how Twitch works this out. If they do change anything to their financial structures in that way. I think that it would be very unpopular to pass that along to consumers, but Twitch isn't necessarily in the business of being popular with the wide swath of the people that use its website these
mm,
days.
They definitely won't touch their partners
No,
because their
no, they will
partners
not.
are where people are really bringing in the money. It'll be the affiliates, so the poor folk that have been struggling to get some notice and some recognition and actually be able to start monetizing, who are already suffering because the tools aren't there that they need to protect themselves, and the discoverability on Twitch is freaking horrific. Um, but yeah. Anywho,
yeah, I just have this like image in my mind of like the people who get the most like music in their streams end up like every time like a little bit comes out of the money that you make through Twitch. It's like, and that's, I don't know. It seems the business model that makes the most sense in my head, but also it sucks, and I don't like it. Hey, other things. With Saints Row coming out, every time there is a game with a character creator, it's always hyped up as the most in-depth character creator of all time in these AAA games. And Saints Row 4 is attempting to give you that level of customization you've always wanted. Get those eyebrows exactly as you like it. I Is this a selling point to you guys for super customization?
for a third person game, yes.
Okay.
When it's something like Cyberpunk, where I had all of this customization and then never freaking saw my character.
Even then, the
No.
customization in Cyberpunk was pretty small.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about touting your customer, your character creator. Jesus Christ. Um, the only time that I feel like a lot of people really get excited about it is whenever you are actively creating a system that will cater to marginalized identities.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the main reason why people were so like wide-eyed about the cyberpunk character creator, was because like it would open itself up to, or it claimed it would open itself up to allowing you to kind of craft bodies that were more closely aligned with yourself, for like trans, non-binary, gender fluid, agender people. To an degree, it did, but there was still a lot of lacking stuff there, especially the way they marketed it. Like, I will never ever let CD Projekt Red live down the fact that they really marketed their character creator that was supposed to be like empowering trans and non-binary people with all this talk about fucking genitals, when that's the last goddamn thing any of them want to fucking talk about. Um, the same can be said about character creators that tout black hair choices or black skin tone choices, because that's been a very like divisive not divisive, I'm not going to say that divisive, that's been a topic of critique for a long time in video game character creators. It's one that still manifests itself to this day. So I'm not really paying attention to you if you're just talking about having the most in-depth character creator, but then like having not really talking about the options there, or not really understanding what that might mean to people that you're trying to market that to. I mean, just in the fact that they're talking about having the most robust character creator or most in-depth character creator, and then they're talking about we have 8 voice options, 4 male and 4 female. Cool, you're not that. You're already doing it immediately. You're gendering all the voices. Like, no, sorry. Like, you tried and failed in that way. It's just, I don't know, that's from my own perspective. That's from my own identity. I'm just, no, it's not doing it for me. Like, you can, like, I know what they're talking about in terms of most in depth. Like, they have all these options for all this other stuff, but they're not taking into effect like what the people that are paying attention to that kind of verbiage actually would want out of this. Now, granted, I wouldn't necessarily think that Saints Row will be the game that would give me that.
No.
Since it's fucking Saints Row, even though this is the toned down to earth version of Saints Row. But still, I don't know. It's just a weird marketing term that doesn't really excite me, honestly.
Now, the one thing I will say for the Saints Row series is in their character creator, yes, unfortunately, they do have their voices divided by male and female. However, I can have a female body type with a male voice, and vice versa.
Yes.
Which is kind of nice. I could also have a heavy character, and there was nothing detrimental to it. Like replaying Saints Row the Third, I forgot about their little triangle of body type, where you could literally have somebody who's skinny fat, or you could have somebody who's muscular but heavy, or muscular but rail thin. And being able to tweak and adjust that as well was always really nice, because I'm sick of playing Victoria's Secret's models in video games.
Yeah, and I don't mean to like crap over the whole thing in that way. I know, like, I think a lot of my own frustrations get dialed into a lot of the stuff just because I'm speaking from my own perspective. But yes, like, character creators have gotten better. They do well in most cases, or some cases rather, to address certain issues. I think it's just more so like if you're going to like put out this sort of verbiage in there, like, you better fucking back it up, and not just in terms of like it's the most in-depth character creator for white people.
Yeah,
You
like,
know?
I forget what game he was talking about, but Blessing Jr. was talking about how one game had a character creator, and it was the first time he saw a fade actually done correctly in a character creator, and he had never been happier. Like, and I understand that. Like, I can't like totally understand that, but like being seen is kind of important here, and I think a lot of these companies don't entirely understand how much that can affect the how the enjoyment of a player in their game, and just a little thing of actually getting a fade correct is big.
Yeah, I mean, well, with the God of War Ragnarok trailer and the promotional material that's come out surrounding that, I saw an article talking about nothing but the one character's hair and how they finally got dreads right.
You know,
And I think
30
it's
years of
fantastic.
video games, somebody's got to have decent dreads finally.
Yeah.
You know what else is cool? Taking money away from big stock companies. Now, you may be tired of talking about GameStop. Lord knows I am. But uh, one of the bigger people in the whole game stonk meme thing, Roaring Kitty, who has a decent YouTube following, would tell people I'm nobody. I've learned most of this on my own. No, he works for Massachusetts Mutual Life, which is a pretty fucking big company. So with him doing some amount of, fucking around with the market, telling people what to buy, especially in stocks that not only he has, but he has bought stocks for other family members and as well at Mass Mutual. Um, they had to pay $4 million to the government. Now that's a tiny slap on the wrist to a company like Mass Mutual. But anything that takes money out of these guys, I am entirely for it. And for the love of God, don't listen to fucking YouTube stock people on, meme stocks and bullshit. Listen to people who actually like do stock and have brain. If you're gonna.
Well, no, see, here's the thing though. Like he was that person. He was a securities broker.
He
Like
was, but he was telling people he is nobody.
I know that's the issue. It's like this was a case of like him playing himself up, like you talked about, the quote unquote little guy sticking it to the larger brokerages
Mm.
whenever he worked for one.
Yeah.
And like this, I think honestly, like maybe we just like don't trust, like I don't know, or like do more research into these things for fuck's sake, like because I'm pretty sure that his like after a lot of this news broke and there was like more government more talk about this from government agencies, like I'm pretty sure his name was out there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And you could have easily found out that he worked for Mass Mutual. And I mean, it's just one of those things where like it's fucking astroturfing.
Yeah.
And I'm so done with this shit. Like I it makes me hate the internet.
Yeah, the whole like narrative from like the get go of this whole GameStop thing is fucking over these big companies. While we've seen now several of the people who were involved aren't just day traders that decided to go big. They're often working with these companies, and a lot of these companies seeded the whole thing in the first place because they could make money off of the other companies failing.
Exactly. It was all predatory. It was
Yeah.
all predatory, like we said when this whole shit was happening. Like, like the whole thing was just fucking. This is why I hate the stock market. This is why I hate it so much.
Yeah,
Because it's just
super
one
fuck the
big
stock
giant
market.
manipulative tool.
Yeah. And you guys said stock market, so I checked my few little tiny investments.
Mm.
I shouldn't have looked.
Oh no.
I mean, I have a grand total of $50 invested in the market right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my entire portfolio right now is currently worth $38 because everything apparently plummeted a couple of days ago.
Doesn't amaze me.
So,
Hey,
well.
while we're on stories that we'd love to not have to talk about anymore, but here we are. Let's start with Activision Blizzard doing some changes in the company. um, Bringing in Julie Hodges from the Walt Disney Company, bastions of doing good things for people at the Walt Disney Company.
Questions of diversity and inclusivity.
Yeah, yeah. If you ever get a chance, by the way, watch the Illuminati talking about the Walt Disney Company, and how they, do things like hide pedophiles.
Yeah.
I have really nothing to say about Armin Zerza, who is being promoted to the CFO. I don't know what his history is, whether he's done anything good, bad, etc. I don't even know what his thing will involve.
CFO, he has the money.
Yeah,
He
I
makes
mean,
it.
good for your bank account.
And it's Sandeep Dubey is taking over for Armin.
Oh, right.
Let's see.
Armin was the one that got promoted out of the CFO position, which getting promoted out of CFO, damn.
So the fact that Sandeep was formerly the senior VP of pricing and revenue management for Delta, and he's going to be this chief commercial officer. Was it Delta that had all those issues, or was it United?
Well, they had separate issues.
Yeah, they both had separate issues.
United was the one where you had the videos of like people getting like dragged off of planes and shit, or like it was one video of somebody getting dragged off a plane by workers there, and they've had a few different issues with that. Delta, on the other hand, had a fun thing where they tried to subvert desires to unionize from their workers by saying like, hey, why pay union dues when you can use that money to buy an Xbox?
We talked about that here on the show. It was cool.
Blizzard's already under fire for their impartial third party being known as a union busting firm. And now they've brought him. Oh god.
So yeah, feel real good about Blizzard.
Also, Walt Disney Company, great record with fucking labor rights.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Head down to Celebration, Florida, and see all the happy faces.
But hey, a new company is now investigating Activision Blizzard. The SEC is apparently getting involved as well. Yeah, not a lot on here yet. Of course, they just have started to launch it. But wow, you're getting another another federal branch as well, looking into your company. That doesn't sound good for Activision in any form or fashion, which I'm fine with.
Oh, for those of us not in the US, what is the SEC?
The SEC is the Security and Exchange Commission.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
they usually handle cases of like financial fraudulent behavior or financial criminology. The last time they were significantly involved in the video game world, if I remember correctly, was during the like the fallout of the like Counter-Strike skin scandals, where people weren't properly divulging their connections to companies. T. Martin specifically,
Mm.
their connection to these skin websites and their ownership in them while promoting them, and that kind of led to the more obvious, but still I don't know if it's like as obvious as it should be, labeling of things on YouTube and social media as advertisements because of that. Like they basically, I believe that T. Martin escaped that with only a fine and no significant real very much a slap on the wrist. But yeah, that's the last time they were like heavily involved in the video game world, to my knowledge. It's not comprehensive though; I could be wrong. But they normally investigate stuff like that, like consumer protection type stuff. This, on the other hand, it seems like a lot of the focus, or at least a good chunk of the focus, is being put onto the actual treatment of the workers, which, from a federal perspective here in the U.S., normally those kind of investigations fall to the NLRB, the National Labor Rights Board.
Mm.
So I'm very curious as to why the SEC is taking such a big focus on that. Not to say that they
Same.
can't, it's just not what they usually do.
Yeah, usually the SEC isn't directly involved in workplace discrimination, so something is really weird here to bring in the SEC as well. So um, that's a huge thing to keep an eye on because that don't mean good things when the SEC gets involved.
No, not at all. And the other really huge thing with the SEC getting involved now is that this is now escalated to a federal level of investigation, not just a state level, because the
Mhm.
lawsuit, as it is right now in California, is just for the state of California. That's a California state agency that is doing that. The SEC, on the other hand, that brings it to a federal level if there are any like filings or findings that come out of this, and it could potentially make things a lot more messy for Activision Blizzard, which, bring it on, please. From all the reports that we've seen about this stuff, like, please bring it.
Yeah, I'm now really, really excited to see what this turns up.
Bring the noise, bring the pain. Um, I did skip over an article on purpose. Do we actually want to go back and talk about that one, or it's a little bit?
It is a bit.
Yeah. Do we want to just do MVG? Just go on, because we've got 3 different things that could be MVG. The
Well,
first 2 aren't declared, but
before we get there, there is some late breaking stuff from today that I don't think we actually got on the list, but I wanted to
yeah.
bring up because if this is true, this is just a report, but if it's true, I might be dead inside.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Um, so who here's a fan of David Cage?
Um,
Uh,
refresh my whole riddle
Heavy
memory.
Rain, Indigo Prophecy, Detroit
Oh,
Become
right.
Human,
okay.
Yeah, makes the
Beyond Two
bad games.
Souls, being super creepy about animating Elliot Page's body in something and then not divulging to him that he had done that, and then being super weird. That
Doesn't
David
believe
Cage.
that using civil rights allegories has anything to do with actual civil rights.
Believes that civil rights allegories boil down to, well, if we just tell them that our protest is for the right cause, then everybody will believe us and they'll just stop being shitlords. That sort of like
Yeah.
head in the clouds person at Quantic Dream, who there's still credible allegations of mistreatment and misconduct at that studio, despite his own fucking denials. That David Cage. There are reports out that Quantic Dream is making a Star Wars game.
What?
Yes,
Yes, but
I
why?
will. I that's the question I asked myself because I don't know why. I don't know why this would happen. I thought I linked the story in our channel, but I'll link it here real quick so
Go for it.
y'all can check this out too. Yes, there are reports that that Quantic Dream could be working on a Star Wars game. Now these are just reports, like I said. This has not been verified fully, or it hasn't been confirmed rather, but multiple places, including multiple reputable journalistic outlets, including the likes of Kotaku, have heard from multiple sources that this is a thing. It also was reported out by VGC as well. So I don't know. There really isn't a lot of talk about it right now. I heard that this was that this is a thing that might happen, and I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only one in physical pain.
It'll
Thoughts?
be interesting to see what the fuck happens here. It won't be good. It's never good, but it is always interesting, like watching, something on fire that's not supposed to be on fire.
So this could be like the train wreck that we literally cannot look away from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This could be like your Death Stranding times a million.
Oh boy. I predict a lot of rants in our future.
It'll be the good rants.
Maybe. If I don't just outright ignore this altogether because I don't want to live in this world.
Anyway, this has been a short one, but for that, we're giving you 3 different Mr. Video games. The first 2 aren't Mr. Video games, but we're giving you the option of seeing these as Mr. Video games because, fuck it, we have the time, why not? Normally, we have a small debate about which one, and we go into it. Now, we definitely have agreed upon which one is Mr. Video Games, but I want you to see some of these things first. Of course, if you don't know, Mr. Video Games is a person-place thing. Whatever the fuck it is something you look at and go, holy shit, that is video games. Now, the first contender that I gave was for the Game Boy Atom. Which, of course, we're getting a Far Cry 6 trailer. Cool,
And it's an unskippable Far Cry 6 trailer.
I still have no idea what the game's actually about. That is the Game Boy Atom.
What?
It's so tiny and cute.
It looks like something I would use as an earring.
The most itty bitty little fucking thing. It is called the Thummy.
See, with this, I would want to pronounce that B.
I could
It's
definitely
the
see
Thumby.
that. It will be launching on Kickstarter soon. I don't remember how many pixels this bad boy is. But it is a small number of pixel count, horizontal and vertical. The fucking USB charger is larger than this bad boy. The buttons on a actual Game Boy are larger than this tiny little fuck. That's goddamn amazing. That's a prototype that he has there, not to be the actual official release or anything, but holy shit. What a weird fucking world we live in.
I mean, I thought it was bad when I had somebody show up with, like, when I worked at the cell phone store, somebody showed up with it looked like a Matchbox card. The same size, it was only like this big. But you flip it open, and it's a fully functioning T9 cell phone.
Nice.
That was weird. But this, I would be afraid of, like, doing really good on a level and then inhaling just a little bit too hard, and then all of a sudden my esophagus is beeping. Like...
Yeah, this is clearly not something meant to actually be played, but, it's for nerds like me, who just love dumb shit. Super dumb shit. Now, Lindsay's choice for MVG was going to be this Twitch streamer. Charity streams are, of course, a thing, and Work Run donned a full set of Lord of the Rings armor and ran a 10K for charity. Look at this boy go. Look at him.
And he posted a time of like 58 minutes.
Jesus.
In
full armor. And broke his donation goal. Like, this is kind of awesome.
That is pretty dope.
That is super cool, and I am glad the weirdos out here are doing cool shit like that, especially for charity. We keep seeing cooler and cooler charity shit going on, and man, I am so glad to see this. But the winner for Mr. Video Games, this is just fan-fucking-tastic. This man
in some ways,
gets so excited about winning Mr. Cake Assault that he dislocated his arm in the middle of a celebration.
yes.
He is fine.
Yeah.
Everything is okay. But goddamn.
Yes. Cake Assault won a Rivals of Aether tournament, which I've been trying to rack my brain to remember what kind of game Rivals of Aether is off the top of my head, and I can't right now because it just sounds like a kind of a generic thing. I'm sure one of y'all, yeah, definitely.
Working on it.
Yeah, but yes, he won the tournament, and then in the term in esports circles is pop off for like these like big celebrations after you win a tournament like this. So he literally popped off his fucking shoulder joint in the middle of celebrating this win in Sandusky, Ohio, a little over 10 days ago. Yeah, I mean, he's fine. Like you said, he's fine. He was having a laugh about it online afterwards, but in the moment, like, that shit sucks. I don't know if y'all have dislocated a shoulder before. That shit sucks.
Yep.
It's not good.
Multiple times, it does.
Yeah.
Rivals of Aether is like the side-scrolling 1v1 fighting game a la OG Mortal Kombat.
Okay, that makes sense then. Okay. Because it was a fighting game it was a fighting game event because there were also a couple of some Smash tournaments as well, so that makes sense. Yeah, just feel bad for the dude, but I'm glad he's okay. Glad he got his win. Hopefully, he will not dislocate his shoulder next time that he wins a tournament. Just wild.
Good luck,
video
Mr.
in
Cake
preparation
Assault.
of this, and I figured like he had celebrated too hard, he slipped off the stage, he landed wrong, but I can't say I've seen a self dislocation before.
No, Buddy was just dancing. He was so super excited.
Yeah, not like I've seen self dislocations, but not like this. Like
Normally, it's called bouncing it off a wall.
Yes, or like I watch a lot of wrestling. There's definitely been spots where like I've seen Randy Orton get down on all fours like he does sometimes to set up for his finisher, and he like punches the mat. And there was definitely one time where he punched the mat and then stopped moving because something happened. Or one of my favorite like sort of things like this. And I say favorite because I know the dude is fine.
Yeah.
But the injury was real bad. Was in Major League Baseball some like 10, 12 years ago. Milton Bradley, which by the way, one of my favorite baseball names of all time. Milton Bradley, after was arguing about being thrown out at first base, and no, he was celebrating something at first base. And he jumps in the air and comes down and tears his ACL.
Oh.
Like he's jumping up and down celebrating something, and then bam. It's just like it's just one of those like dumb moments, but like also just like sticks in the brain because it just like I know the dude's okay, but like, fuck.
Yeah. And that's some pain in the moment.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah. I just had to share that with everybody because I can't be the only one.
Alright. This has been Mr. Video Games for September the 20th, 2021. Wonder Boy, you got anything left for us this evening? Final words?
Yeah, I got one more bit of kind of not necessarily late breaking, but breaking from earlier today news. Swery's game The Good Life is set for an October 15th release date.
Good God.
So there you go.
Too
That's
many
there.
games.
That's there. Other than that, though, I'm going to go ahead and preemptively second everything that Lens is going to say because that's what I always do. And remind everyone you can follow me on Twitter at WonderboyOTM. You can check out my writing at outsports.com, tollroad.com, and pastemagazine.com. And of course, check out LGBT in the Ring, my queer pro wrestling podcast every Thursday on the Outsports Podcast Network. Just search Outsports in your podcast service of choice. Like I said, I'm talking to Theo Ivory this week, who is going to be in that Gayers Day 3-way match at Pro Wrestling After Dark's Taste of the Rainbow on October 1st. So it's a fun one. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Merwin, any final words?
Always. Don't forget to love each other from a socially acceptable distance. Wear a mask, wash your hands. Shush. I've been on like pins and needles all night because today is election day. Get vaxxed. Be the change you want to see in the world and just be cool. And I'm actually going to add some stuff tonight. Guys, you can still follow us at NVG Plays on Twitter.
Yes.
That is our official podcast the Twitter account. In addition, y'all can follow me at L Merowin. I've been super quiet lately. I know I'm trying to fix this. Work-life balance wasn't there. It's coming back. I hope to be coming back soon. That's all I can say is just soon. I refuse to put a timeline on it because the last time I tried it went sideways. So, at any rate, and also pray for Canada tonight.
Going to be.
Big ups for the Maple Leaf.
Yeah, go NDP. I don't know, not cons though. So, yeah. Save us.
All right. Thanks everyone who came out tonight. Josh Komar, etc. All you people, be rad. Giant Pie also. Can't forget the pie. Y'all have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow.
Bye.